Welcome back, watchers and listeners, to another spooky season episode. I guess this is our first spooky
The
season
first one.
episode of What We Watch. I am your host, Garrett Christopherson, here with my fellow host,
Natalie Brinkerhoff.
and we are super excited to give you a spooktacular episode of What We Watch this week and then the coming week as well. We're recording this and the next episode back to back. And it will be released. This first one will be released this week, which is October 15th right now, and then the next one will be released next week. So you're getting two for the price of one, kind of. So not the normal wait.
Well, yeah, but it is our gift to you since we have been slacking.
Mm-hmm. We've
But
been so sporadic, but
we've been back now.
but
And
today
guess what?
Go ahead.
We have Jackson with us.
Yay!
Our producer.
Jackson, if you have a camera, we'll allow you this one time to turn your camera on and wave.
Let's see your face. Drum roll.
So I'm hooked up to my monitor, so I don't have a camera.
He said, you don't get to see my face.
But that is Jackson's voice, everybody. Now you know what it sounds like, even though most people probably
He's a
know
mystery because it's spooky season episode.
Jackson. Exactly. It's in
So.
theme. But so today we're going to be talking about the new film by Zach Cregger called Weapons. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we've been watching recently. So Natalie, what have you watched the past 2 weeks?
Well, Garrett, when a show ends, another begins. Because last time you were talking about how much I've been watching Summer I Turned Pretty. But it's no longer summer, so can't be watching that. And the show ended. But I am very excited because Dancing with the Stars started. So I've been watching that. If you know, you know. It's fire. Jackson even joined us to watch Disney Night, and it was so good.
I barely know anything about the season, but I want Robert to win.
Hey, you know what? That he's great. So it's actually kind of I've been watching Dancing with the Stars for a long time, and I've been consistently watching it for about 4 seasons now. And it's a stacked season. Like there's so many like actually genuinely good dancers. And so it's really exciting to see kind of like where things are going. But been watching that, and then another show I've been watching on Netflix is called The Way Home. And I'm not even joking when I say this, it is a Hallmark movie, like Hallmark TV series. And I went into it thinking that it was going to be like a Hallmark movie, like, you know, like a Christmas movie.
Goofy Christmas
Yeah,
movie,
like goofy. But it's actually kind of fire.
Really?
I've been mad impressed. Yeah. Like it's like about time travel and like family drama, and there's death, and it's crazy.
What? In a Hallmark show?
Yes. I'm genuinely shocked. Like I started watching it and I was like, this can't be that good.
Yeah.
And then it like started getting into it and I was like, wait, why is this so fire? And every season ends with like a crazy cliffhanger. And so like you have to go watch it. There's 3 right now and they're filming a 4th. So I started a Hallmark Channel free trial to watch the 3rd season because only the 2 seasons are on Netflix right now. That's how good it is. But I have to watch it in 7 days. So I have about 3 days left to finish it.
How long is each episode?
Like 45 minutes. And there's only 10 episodes in a season. So it's like really fast.
Yeah.
But it's actually pretty good. There are some like funny things in it too because like the main girl is like a teenager in high school and she travels back in time and is like best friends with her mom in the 90s. But then she's dating like this guy in the 90s while she's time traveling, and then she sees him in the future. It's so weird. I know, but like they're not dating.
That's
like they
the
know it's
hallmark of
weird.
it all. Yeah.
That's the but it's actually like interesting, I promise. But not that you should go watch it, but if anybody who likes that type of stuff is listening, you should go watch it.
Yeah.
What have
For
you
the
been watching,
Hallmark
Garrett?
lovers out there.
Yeah, I think
I've
your
been
mom would be a
watching.
big fan.
Yeah, the moms would eat it up. I've been watching. Me and my one of my friends. He'd never seen the modern Planet of the Apes movies, which are some of my favorite movies. So we watched those, and every single time I watch those movies, I go in thinking like, all right, it talking monkeys. Like it's gonna be entertaining, and that's about it. But every single time, I am like, after watching the third one of the trilogy, like we just sat there and then talked about it for like an hour. And he's not a movie guy like at all. And we
Yeah.
just talked about it for an hour, and that turned into a conversation about like how stories are important and just life overall and the gospel, and just went crazy.
They
But
got deep after
and
Planet of
it's
the Apes.
and it's not like it's not because of necessarily like it was because of the movie that we were talking about those things. Like those movies, those modern movies, I've wanted to do them on the podcast for a while. Eventually, we'll do them and later down the line, but they are so good, like
Yeah.
unbelievably good. Every single
Love it.
time I watch them, I'm just impressed because not only are the effects great, but just like the writing is great. The character, like Caesar, the main ape, like the main character, one of
Yeah.
the best characters of the modern filmmaking movie scape. Like for the last like 30 years, I want to say, like he's so good.
Dang. You heard it
Those
here
are
first,
big
people.
words, but if you haven't seen those movies and you're like, what is this guy talking about? It's talking monkeys. Watch the movies. They are not just talking monkeys. You will see.
I
what I'm
guess I'll
talking
wait.
about.
I'll wait till we. I've definitely seen them before. I remember going with your
Mm-hmm.
family to see one of them in
It's
theaters.
probably Dawn, the second one.
Couldn't tell you which one it is, but I remember like thinking it was decent. Like I don't remember I don't remember hating it, so I'm sure I would enjoy it.
Yeah, and they do a really good job of. They know like the premise is like people are really. I mean, it's based on the classic movies from back in the day, but they know that the premise is like it's hard to get people to really care about like talking CGI apes. So they spend
they
a lot of
make it
time
worth
dedicated
it.
to making you love these characters. But anyways,
Sick.
so that was great. Very, very good movies.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I've been watching. I need to watch more spooky things, but that's why we're doing this.
Yeah, that's why we're here. I love it. Well, are you gonna introduce our film?
Yes. So let me pull up just a little bit. Our Jackson brought up the critic and audience scores, which we'll do in a little bit, but I want to just pull up the summary or synopsis of the movie real quick. So, Weapons. When all but one child from the same classroom mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. That's the overview.
Dun.
But this movie is directed by Zach Cregger. He has recently done another horror movie, which I haven't seen, but people really love, called Barbarian from 2022. And he is slated to now direct the upcoming Resident Evil movie based on the mega popular game series. But the way that, I don't think that overview, like that's like the story, but the vibe of this movie, I don't know if you agree after having watched it, but it is just hoodwinked for adults.
Okay, so I will just start this with saying,
Oh, wait, before we do that, actually, do we want to explain that how this episode is going to be a little different?
oh, yes. To our listeners, our diehards, we decided that we're going to try something new for spooky season, and if it sticks, then great. If not, just tell us your thoughts. Tell us if you like what we were doing or if you like what we're doing now. So, we're just going to kind of like chat. For lack of better
No more
words.
categories.
We're just getting rid of categories. That doesn't mean that we're getting rid of popcorn, because we'll
Yeah.
still give it a score at the end of our like overall thoughts. But we felt like it was getting a bit redundant to just have the categories and go through the movies. So we're just going to chat about our thoughts, come up with some fun questions for the movie throughout the episode, and then see what we like, see what we don't like, and go from there.
Yeah, and
Yeah?
we may bring up some like categories, like not necessarily like plot, but like Natalie was saying, it's more like questions of who do you think is the best
Yes.
performer in the movie? Who's your favorite character?
Yes.
What's your favorite moment? That kind of stuff. Not like,
Yes.
this is how I would rate the plot.
Yes. Correct. Just so it's not, just to mix it up. And if you guys love it, let us know. If you guys are like, we kind of like the structure of the old one, let us know. If you want us to kind of mingle the two, let us know. And we'll do what we end up liking. But anyways, back to Weapons. I just want to start this with saying the only things I knew about this movie were, I think I had seen maybe like a commercial or two, but like it never really like stuck in my brain. So I think I had seen like the video, like the clips of like the kids running and like leaving, because I think that's all that the marketing was. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They did not show
But
any
I
of,
had
like,
seen
the
the
actual
poster.
stuff.
Yeah, I had seen like the poster of like the kids running. And then all I heard was from my little brother Brady, who said, "It's hoodwinked for adults." And I said, "Cool. Sounds great." Oh, and also the only other thing I knew was that my coworker had watched it, and she said that it wasn't scary enough. And so I was like, perfect. Like, this sounds like a film I'm gonna like. I'm like, this sounds great. Not that scary. Hoodwinked for adults. Random, like, it seems like kind of a cool situation with like the story, what the marketing. And then I go into this and I say, what is going on? I'm like, the whole Aunt Gladys of it all, the whole big like dream sequences with like the gun above the house and like the people, like, oh my gosh, there were several times I watched it on my laptop because I literally watched it this last night. There were several times where I legit was like putting my hand over the screen because I could not watch, like, the freaking black vomit that the freaking what's his name, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the like principal on his partner. Oh my gosh, I literally, everything about it, I was just like, that's not
probably
my,
the gnarliest scene of the movie.
this is not my movie. It's like, okay, and also one last thing, I understand what you guys mean by like the hoodwinked situation where it's like, okay, like we're doing this in chapters and following like a single character, and then eventually everything kind of like comes together and it's like a mystery and whatever. But I do think I've seen it done before. Like, I don't think that I would be like, oh my gosh, this is mind-boggling. I can't think of an example right now. But I've seen that before, and I don't think that I would. I think I'd rather just watch Hoodwink.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's just my first. I also thought, sorry, I just keep rambling. But I also thought after I finished the movie, Garrett is really gonna have to explain this one to me because I don't get it. So you got some work to do.
I got some explaining to do. Okay, so before we jump into me explaining the movie to Natalie, I'll just give my overall thoughts on it. To preface this, if you have not seen the movie Weapons and you have some sort of interest in seeing the movie Weapons, turn off this podcast, go watch it, and then come back, because we are going to dive heavy into spoilers.
There'll be spoilers. If you have no interest in it, then you don't have to watch it. If you just want to listen to our podcast, then do that.
But it is kind of a movie that's built upon twists and turns, and not that like there are things to spoil that I don't think you want spoiled. Like, I think the best thing to do with this movie, if you're interested in it, is go in blind. Like, don't look up anything, don't read anything, just go in blind. Watch the trailer, that's it. So with that out of the way, I love this movie. I think this was one of my favorite movies of the year. We'll talk a lot about her, I'm sure, but Aunt Gladys I love her as a villain. I think she's so fascinating. I think the actress does such a good job with Aunt Gladys. She's like, these types of villains are the villains that I love. I love that there's a lot of ambiguity in the movie. There's a lot of things that are just implied. Like, one of my favorite things, it's probably why I like kind of Stephen King stuff, not everything, just from what I've read, what I've watched of his stuff. I love movies and stories. For example, Stranger Things, where at first it seems very just normal, like, oh, a kid got kidnapped kind of thing, but there's an overlaying supernatural like presence to it all. That's what
Okay,
made
yeah.
season 1 of Stranger Things so good, because there was that supernaturalness to it, but like there was so much like you didn't we have still have no idea what the upside down is. Now we kind of know a little bit about more details in the Demogorgon and the lab and stuff like that. But in season 1, going solely based on season 1, by the end of that season, we still barely know anything about really the world
Yeah,
at all.
a lot of
It's
it.
just these characters. And that's why I love, like, that's the stuff I love, is when you're just worried about like these characters, and like the real story is kind of behind the scenes of what, like, the supernatural stuff, the Demogorgon upside downy kind of stuff, the Aunt Gladys kind of stuff in this movie. It's kind of behind the scenes. The characters are taking center stage, and
Do you
that's what most important.
Yeah, do you feel like in general when it comes to stuff like this, is it do you enjoy that you're left with a lot of questions, or do you like to have kind of things wrapped up? Because I think that that's where a lot of my frustration came from this movie, was that I was just like, okay, what was the point?
Hmm.
You know
And
what
I
I mean?
think,
Like,
yeah, for me, it needs to have, like, there needs to be answers, right? If I'm left at the end of a movie and I have so many questions, that excites me if I know that there's answers that I can find within the movie
yeah.
itself.
And did you feel like that in this movie? Because I felt
Hmm.
like I watched this and I said, that
It
was
is a
weird.
lot of,
What's the point?
it's a lot of behind this, not behind the scenes as in like the movie making, it's behind like like, for example, the camera is showing you one thing, the characters are saying one thing, but there's real, like, if you look in the details of the scene, you see something in the background, or you see,
Yeah.
or it's implied such and such. So, for example, I'll give you a bad example. In my opinion, a bad example of this. Christopher Nolan is a really good director when it comes to this type of filmmaking, where it's, oh, by the end of the movie, you're going to have a lot of questions, but you know that I can find the answers to the questions within the movie itself. For example, like Inception, Interstellar to some degree. But a bad example of his work is, in my opinion, Tenet. Like, sure, you
Yeah, I
can
don't like
kind
Tenet.
of piece together what's going on, but at the end of the day, like, I have read so many explanations of what that movie is actually about, and I still do
And
not
you still don't
understand it.
understand it. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and honestly, that's kind of how I felt about this movie. And
Hmm.
like I will say, I think like Inception and like Interstellar, like I love those movies. I like when there's questions and like cool things that you kind of, after watching it several times, it's like, oh, like I see how that is pieced with this and whatever.
Hmm.
But with this movie, I just literally it ended and I was like I just kind of I looked it up immediately and
Hmm.
I said, "What is Weapons even about?"
Yeah.
Because I said, "What did I just watch?"
What
And
is
then like
like,
I started reading about it, and I was like, "There's too many like differing opinions on like what
hmm,
it could mean that I was just like, I don't care anymore."
yeah, I don't
And
like
I
the
don't even
whole,
care that I'm like having to look it up. I'm like, if there's not an explanation that can just tell me what it is point blank,
hmm,
then I'm sorry, you've
yeah,
lost me.
I think I find a lot of, because I've looked into like people's interpretations of this movie. You
Yeah,
find a lot of the dialogue is more about, like, the dialogue of the discussion of this movie is a lot more about like the themes of it all. I don't really care as much about that for this movie in particular. Like, and even Zach Cregger has said, like, this movie does not have, he did not write the script with a real theme in mind. It was
yeah.
just, I'm going to tell the story. Yes, there's themes in it, of course, but, and like trauma and overcoming trauma and that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff.
Well, and that's what a
But,
lot of what I looked up it was saying. It was
mhm,
like all of it like literally was like these themes and then I went on to Reddit and I was like trying to figure out and then I went on to TikTok and I was trying to figure it out to prepare
mhm.
for this. And I'm like, actually I have no idea what's happening.
And I find a lot of people who talk about it, they don't really give an explanation of like the movie. They give an explanation of like their interpretation of what it's about or the themes of the movie. It's like, no, that's not really, like, I
Yeah.
love those
So
conversations,
that's
but
why
that's
I
not how
need
I see it.
you.
Yeah.
So
So
tell me what I
what's your
watched.
biggest question?
I
We'll
don't
start with that.
even know. Like I just think that I think my biggest question is what was the point?
But like, define like what was the point?
I don't know. And here's the thing too that I should probably put out there is that I'm not a huge fan of scary movies. And not that this was a scary movie. I think it's more of like a thriller, right? Like there's humor in it. There's a lot of like in between moments where you're like it's building anticipation, trying to figure out like what is going on. There's a lot of mystery in it. The dream sequences I think were like interesting, stuff like that. But I just think at the end of at the end of the movie, I just was like, I just don't get it. And maybe it's because I don't like those kinds of movies in general.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I
just felt like a lot of build up for not a lot of payoff.
Yeah. I think we'll start with the most obvious thing, I think, which is the villain of the movie itself, Aunt Gladys, the witch.
Yes.
So off the bat, she's a witch. I'm sure you picked up on that as the movie was going on. Like, that is what she is. She's a witch. And so this movie is very, very inspired by like folklore. So like the Pied Piper, Hansel and Gretel, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so it's taking
I can see
that
those vibes.
kind of vibe. Exactly. It's taking that vibe and putting it in like a modern setting. So it's almost like a fairy tale to some degree.
Yeah.
There's this witch, she comes to town, she terrorizes this family, this little boy, she wants to take all the children of the town. Like that kind of like folklore-y Hansel and Gretel kind of vibe. And so that's what, in my opinion, kind of one of my favorite things, if not my favorite thing about the movie is it's taking like old mythology kind of stuff and putting it under a modern lens. So so Aunt Gladys, for example.
So just like those creepy, twisted, weird stories, but okay.
Exactly. Like Brothers Grimm kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So from what I understand of what Aunt Gladys is and what she's doing there's so much to talk about. I don't want to get this all jumbled, but so she is a witch who I don't think she's really actually related to the family.
Yeah,
like,
which I kind of figured out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like she's either taken control of the mom's former sister or they just haven't seen their sister in so long that they didn't know exactly what she looked like or whatever.
Yeah, like the aunt that he ends up with at the end, like that's probably her actual aunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, and also I saw something when I looked it up that there's like theories that she's actually like really, really old, like from 1800s. So witch living like forever.
Exactly.
Type situation.
And the hint that is when she goes to the principal's office and is explaining.
Yes.
She says like, "Oh, they have consumption," which was an old term for like tuberculosis or something like that. I think.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Yeah, which was like a term, like you said, from like the 1800s. So Aunt Gladys has been around for a very, very long time, and it can be assumed she's done this kind of stuff all the time. There's also a lot of talk about. There's a flashback scene in The Class, where they're talking about parasites. There's like the word parasite on the wall or something.
And then the Parasite movie. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's supposed to be like she's a parasite for like different families where she'll just like use their like the reason why, for example, the parents just have to go to a psych ward the rest of their lives, whereas the kids kind of slowly get out of it. And then Josh Brolin's character just snapped out of it immediately. Is she's pretty much like feeding on their life, like their soul.
She's taking their energy so that she can live. It's basically Mother Gothel.
Exactly.
In a darker way.
And if you notice throughout the movie, she does start to get physically a little bit better as she gets more and more victims. Like when she first gets there to the house,
she's laying on the bed,
hunched over. She only has a couple of strands of hair. Whereas as she gets more and more like victims, she gets a little bit more hair. She's easier. She maneuvers around more like easy. So she essentially is trying to keep her life going for a time. Like
she's prolonging her life by feeding off of other people. Can we talk about the scene where the freaking parents are stabbing themselves in the face with a fork?
Wild.
Another time that I covered my screen. I said, I ain't watching that.
Yeah. I think that brings up, before I jump before we continue about Aunt Gladys, I do want to just briefly mention the kid in this movie, the actor for like the main kid, is so good.
He's killed it. Yeah.
Such a good child
so
actor.
Talented. Yeah.
What's his name? Let me look up his names. Kerry Christopher's his name. He plays Alex. He's so good in this movie. Like, it's so sad. You're so sad for him. but he's also
Yeah,
kind
and
of
just
the
how he
hero
like
at the end of
shuts
the
down. Yeah.
day. But so I love that scene where, not for when they stab themselves in the face, that's very scary, very not fun to look at. But I love her like Aunt Gladys's like lines in that moment, because it kind of shows you, one, how powerful she is, and two, how like evil she is. Like there's that
Yeah.
one line where she's telling Alex, like, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna act like nothing happened, you're just gonna be completely normal. And then she says, and if you don't, like, I can make your parents do such and such. And then she says this one line where she goes, I can make them eat each other
Eat
if I
each
want
other.
to. And the way she delivers that line, and just like the pause in between, it's like,
Yeah.
she is evil. And it's she's not saying it as like a, oh, I could do this. It's, I have done this
I
before,
have
I
done
can
it.
do this again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I love. Like, I love these types of villains.
It's just
who
so
are
funny. Everything that you're saying, I'm like, I think that I'm getting everything that you're saying. I just don't enjoy it.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is that's why, because normally if it wasn't, shout out to Zach Cregger, the director, because he's very good at making, in my opinion, like, because in the hands of another director, this movie could have been a lot darker, a lot like, which granted, like, dark movie, but it's funny. Like you were bringing up, like, it's pretty funny a lot of the time. Like there's humor in it. For example, the entire chase scene at the very end where the army of kids are chasing after Gladys. That's supposed to be like a homage to like Ferris Bueller and stuff. And it's freaking hilarious. Like it's so good.
Well, and also I think before I watched it, Brady said, he told me that he's like, they builds all this tension, but then by the end you're kind of like laughing. And I was like, well, I'm not sure that I wanted to know that going into it. But when I knew that like I had made it to the point where it was like, okay, you'll start laughing, I just was so like over it at that point that I didn't even laugh. Like I wasn't even like, and then the kids freaking, another part where I was like, I can't even watch this, when they're freaking attacking her.
But that, to me,
The amount
like,
of times, the gag reflex that I had in this movie, and I feel like I've seen some pretty violent stuff, but I think it was just like, I think it was just the way that there was violence in this movie, and like, I don't know, it was just a little disturbing to me in a lot of ways, but
it, like, for me, the reason why I don't think the gore, because the goriest part in this movie is easily the very end when the kids tear Aunt Gladys apart.
Yeah.
But maybe Wong crushing his partner's head, but
well, yeah, that part nasty. Also, his freaking head on the side of the road after he got ran over. Blech. Gross.
Crazy. But I think
Garrett's like, but whatever.
one of the reasons why, I mean, this was probably one of my favorite theater experiences I've had in a long time. Both times I saw it, because the theater, like, it was just showed me like, this is why we go to the movies, to be the Nicole Kidman AMC commercial about it. Like, this is why we go to the movies, because seeing this in an audience where we were all
getting
laughing,
to experience it together.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think that maybe that's what I was missing, because I think I like watching it by myself alone in my room at night. Like, I just was like, and I think that I could have experienced it, maybe enjoyed it a little bit more if I did get like a theater experience where it's like, oh my gosh, and then you get to like talk about it after, you get to experience it, and like, even if I didn't like it, I think if I had watched it maybe with somebody, maybe I would have liked it a little bit more. But just the fact, so I guess if you're still interested and haven't watched Weapons and you're like, maybe I do want to watch this, just make sure you watch it with somebody.
Yeah, watch it with somebody or with people.
Yeah.
So you can actually have that like experience of watching it together, because those parts, like when they rip Aunt Gladys apart at the very end, like in this movie made me do like involuntary reactions. Like involuntarily, I just was like mouth open wide, just like eyes wide, just shocked at the screen. But I think the reason why in this instance I'm less like ugh and more like, oh my gosh, and like, it's kind of because it's vindicating to see this horrible, evil witch get ripped apart by the kids that she's taken over, and then they break the spell. I think to an
extent.
Like, it's still disgusting, don't get me wrong, but it's like, yeah, this is a terrible, evil lady who's lived for who knows how long, who's done this to so many people, that it's like, vindicating. It's like,
We're just
oh,
really
they did it.
testing my gore with some of
Yeah.
these movies we've been watching.
And
And
this is,
I think the Weapons was a little too much for me. Even though there's not a lot of it, to be fair. There isn't a
Yeah.
lot of it. Like, it's few and far between, but when
it's
it
just
does happen,
shocking
it's
every time.
shocking and
Yeah.
disturbing. Yeah.
With all that said, kind of to like bring this back a little bit, I think my favorite aspect of this movie is just the mystery behind it all. Like, even in the trailer, like Aunt Gladys was nowhere
Not
in
in
any
the-
of the marketing.
yeah.
Like, and that was by design. And just the mystery of the slow reveal of what's going on, who even is this person, who is this random clown lady, and then obviously the ultimate Alex storyline where you see everything kind of unfold and the true story behind it all.
Yeah, at the end.
I think there's a lot of movies with the premise like this, or a lot of stories with the premise like this, that I feel very like, well, that did not deliver at all. Whereas
Yeah.
with this movie, I was like, this is, I guess a lot of these types of movies feel anticlimactic by the end, whereas this one is the exact opposite, where I was like, I personally felt satisfied. One, I went into this movie thinking that they weren't going to save the kids. I thought all the kids were dead, which they're messed up, but they do save them. And that the narrator at the very end, which is kind of implied to be one of the kids who was taken, she says like, oh, they've started to talk again. So it is like, it's a happy ending. The music that plays at the end, like Alex saves the day. He's the one who kills Aunt Gladys. He's the one who saves everybody. Like, it's not, to me, if this movie ended with, oh, everybody dies, Aunt Gladys survives and like goes on to the next town, I'd be pissed. But the fact that this movie does have like the heroes win, that's why I really like it. And I think that's why I want to shout out Zach Cregger, because I feel like it wasn't him. Somebody else would have taken this in a much darker, like, oh, the heroes don't
Could
win,
have gone
everybody
worse.
dies. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I will give credit where credit's due. Like, I do think that they were giving every chapter, I would say, was giving just enough information for it to still feel like you don't know what's going on. So, and I think that Stranger Things is a good example of that, right? Like, you're watching it and you don't really know what's going on ever, but like, you still want to know because you're still getting pieces of information slowly. And so it's like, hey, like, I'm piecing pieces together, but what is actually going on? And I do think that you get like just enough information to keep you wanting more throughout, with then like getting some sort of satisfying answers to the mystery of it all. I think for me personally, the unknown about all the background and like where everybody goes after that is not my favorite thing in the world, even though you know that there's some sort of a happy ending. But yeah, I think that like it really was a good way of doing it and putting it together. It was interesting. Like, I was interested. I just think it's just, not my movie. But that's fine. Not every movie's my movie.
Who's like, to get into some questions now, even though this isn't one of your movies, what is like, who is the character, or what was like the perspective that you were the most invested in?
Good question. I think that Josh Brolin's character may have been my favorite. I always like a parent storyline when it comes to some sort of mystery where it's like the parents trying to figure out like what's going on and they kind of take it in their own hands type vibe. And so I really liked his story. What is his character's name?
His character's name, I'm looking it up because I remember it's kind of weird. It's Archer.
Archer, yeah. I liked him. I liked Alex because then you actually get like the what's really going on. I think those were probably my favorites. And Alex was just so good. Like we said earlier, the actor was just so cute and did such a good job. But yeah, I thought those were the most interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought it was
fact.
so funny after Josh Brolin's dream when he wakes up and he's like,
What the
what the F? So funny.
There
Because
are
that's
a
how I
lot of
felt the whole
people-
movie.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who they're like, what's the point, which you brought it up, like, what's the point of the gun in the sky thing? And it's like, there's not really, like, it's just one, it's a dream, so you can get wacky with it. Two, he's a like vet, like Archer is a Marine, like he has a
Ah,
tattoo. That's why he can't connect with his son very much because, like, again, it's not directly said, but if you watch the movie and kind of pick up on the hints, he's a Marine. He wasn't able to tell his son that he loved him. He's like has some sort of PTSD, it seems, and so that's why he's so obsessed with this, and that's why he sees the gun in the sky because it's like just associated with like
well,
whatever PTSD he has.
okay, a lot of what I looked up too is that there's some sort of connection with school shootings in this movie.
I've seen that too. I don't really agree with that. Like again, Zach Cregger said like I'm never gonna tell people like, oh, this is what I intended because that kind of takes the fun out of it.
Okay.
Of like, oh, this is supposed to be a metaphor of school shootings because I see what they're trying to say there, but I don't really see it. Like, like I can get why they're saying that because it's like, oh, kids go missing, gun in the
Yeah.
sky, movie's called Weapons. But
Yeah. Well, and I
besides
also
the
think the
whole,
whole, like, after, okay. I will say, I do understand where they're coming from with that, with the
Mhm,
kids going missing, and then, like, the town grieving it. Like, there's, like, the
mhm,
whole setup, like, the memorial thing, and, like, them trying to figure out all of that stuff, and, like, coming back to school, and, like, what does that look like now that these people are
mhm.
missing? Like, I get what they're saying, but I was
Yeah.
just wondering if that's like what you think it was about,
I honestly
or
like,
what your thoughts were.
I think my main thing with that is the people who say like, oh, this metaphor for school shootings, they almost always point towards like the Archer gun in the sky dream sequence thing as like this is the main evidence to support that. But I think like what you were saying is much better evidence for it. They're like, oh, because
Yeah.
there was the gun in the sky with the alarm of 217, that can correlate with this type of or this school shooting when this happened. And it's like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of
Like
a
what?
stretch.
Yeah.
Like what you are saying about like, oh, the aftermath of the town grieves, what does going back to school look like, that kind of stuff. That I can get like I see the connection there. The
Yeah.
other stuff I don't. Like I
Yeah.
don't think there's really supposed to be a huge deeper meaning
It's not a
besides
direct tie. Well, and I think
yeah.
that was what was frustrating for me too after I watched this movie was when I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's about school shootings, and then I was trying to figure out how all the pieces connected, and maybe that's not the
Mhm.
point. Maybe some pieces are supposed to be like some sort of metaphor for it. But I was like, how are these pieces connecting to make, because
Mhm.
I'm like, if you're gonna allegory it, then just do it. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I don't see where that's all coming into play. And
Mhm.
then I think that's part of where my frustration was I was like, because I was like, what's the point? And then I
Mhm.
look it up and it says the point is school shootings, and I said, that makes no sense.
And I think the school shooting debate falls apart once Aunt Gladys comes
Gladys
in.
is involved? Exactly. See,
Exactly.
that's where I was like, okay, I just don't get it.
Like I can see because this movie is not supposed to be allegorical. Like I'm
Okay.
at least the way I see it. Like people talk about it, but from what I've read, from what I've seen, from what the director's talked about, from just the way I interpret what he's talked about, this isn't supposed to be one size fits all. This is what the movie is about. The movie is
Yeah.
supposed to be a modern folktale in a
Which, when you were
with the
saying that
twist.
earlier, I go, oh, okay. Like, I get it.
Mhm. Like it's supposed to similar to how Stranger Things kind of sets up like, oh, this realistic scenario, kid goes missing, we're gonna go investigate, like, oh, maybe it's his dad, maybe it's this, but then as the
Yeah.
story goes on it gets more supernatural. That's how this is supposed to be, at least how I see it. Like, yes, you can get into like, oh, how I personally interpret the movie of like, oh, this is a metaphor about school shootings, this is a metaphor about family trauma, this is a metaphor whatever.
Yeah. Well, and I saw a lot of that too, where it's like, oh,
Hmm.
Alex is a metaphor for, like, abuse in the home.
Hmm. But it's like his
Stuff
parents
like
are like
that.
loving parents, so it's like
No, exactly. And it's like,
mhm,
it's like, okay, well, and then when you read about it and you think about it, it's like, yeah, I could see that. And maybe that's the point
mhm,
of the movie too, is that it's like an English book when you're like reading it and it's like, well, this can
mhm,
mean this and you can interpret it this way and you can also
mhm.
see this. But anyways,
And that is definitely like by design. Like it's not supposed to be like we were saying. Everybody has their own interpretation of it. Everybody has their own kind of tweaked version of the story of, oh, I think Gladys is this, or oh, I think her doing this is this thing, or I think the tree where she gets branches is this. That like
yeah.
everybody's supposed to kind of have their own. Like that's the fun of it for a lot of people. Of oh, I can have my own story. Like I can have my own background for Gladys. I can have my own happy ending the way I interpret it kind of thing, which that's what I love. I'm not really a big like, oh, this movie means this kind of person. Like, I don't really love, like, I think all movies should, the best movies have a point. They're trying to say something. But I think the movies that are supposed to be like a one-for-one metaphor or one-for-one allegory just aren't really my thing. Like, I want to just be told a story, not be told a theme. Let the theme go along with the storytelling, not the story go
He
along
didn't
with the
like
theme.
English class. He
Well,
wasn't
like,
a Lord
there
of
should be
the
a
Flies
balance.
guy.
No. There should be a balance. Like, you can't have one without the other.
Totally.
But I think story goes before theme, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
people view it differently.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, yeah, like what you were saying, I think some people need to have some sort of explanation, and maybe as we're talking about this, maybe I feel like there needs to, in a movie like this, maybe instead of where it's just a lot of confusing and moving pieces, I'd rather there be a meaning. And maybe that's why I'm frustrated with it, is that I'm like, I want there to be some sort of explanation for it, but there isn't. It's more about interpretation, which that's why you storytell anyways, is because people are going to take it and then apply it to their lives the way that they feel like it fits. But I didn't feel this story in my life or like connect to it in a lot of ways. And so I'm like, well, it must mean something. And it doesn't. And that's fine too. But
Yeah,
anyways.
I think a lot of the stories that I love the most are the stories that, like we were saying, they don't really, not that they don't mean anything, but there's not like the author's
One
like,
size
I'm writing
fits
this
all.
to be a metaphor for this thing.
Well,
Like,
and
for
I honestly
example,
don't think that a lot of stories are these days, but
yeah. It just, this movie, it wasn't marketed to be that, but just watching it the first time, I feel like it's like, oh, I'm sure there's a deeper meaning behind this, but there really isn't. It's just what you make of it. And so I feel like it's more because people have talked about it in this way that it's become that kind of thing. Like, I didn't walk out of this movie being like, what does this all mean? I walked out of this movie just like, that was a pretty good movie.
that was a fun time.
Yeah, I enjoyed the story. I like piecing together the backstory of characters and stuff.
Yeah.
I could care less about the theme.
Yeah.
Not as I could care less, but that's not what I'm really focused on.
Which, okay, for me, I think, as you were saying that you like piecing the puzzle together, I think that's why I do, I like a mystery. Like, I love, like, true crime. Like, I love a mystery, like, I love a documentary where it sets you up and it's, like, telling you, like, little pieces to the puzzle, and then it's like, but wait, we need to tell you this part. But wait, then this happened, and guess what? It's not even those people, it's this person. Like, I like all of that stuff where it's, like, trying to connect it and then getting the final story and, like, closure that you need.
Which
and I like
sounds
that
like
in,
a
like,
movie we're about to talk about.
Precisely. But yeah, like, I like that kind of stuff, and I just feel like this movie felt like it was gearing up for that, and then the way that ended just wasn't my favorite. And,
Was it?
But I think a lot of people liked this movie.
Yeah,
right?
We'll talk about this we'll talk about this right now. Did the critics get it right? Did the audience get it right? Weapons, when it first came out, still to this day, critically hailed. Rotten Tomatoes score, 93%. Audience score, 85%. Sitting at a 3.7 out of 5 on Letterboxd. People really like this movie. A lot of people talked about... Or go ahead.
I'm the outlier, everybody. Because I just
Natalie's
don't get
weird.
it.
Point and laugh.
Natalie's weird. Okay, but to be fair, here's my thought with this, is that audience scores I'm finding are just very skewed in general, because, like, somebody like me probably isn't watching this movie and giving it the audience score,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you like this type of movie, if you're like Garrett, you like kind of what we've been talking about, then I do think you're going to like this movie. If you like horror, if you like thriller, if you like mystery, if you like supernatural type stuff, you're going to like this movie. Right?
Yeah.
And I think critically speaking, I do think that it is a well put together movie. So I think the critics got it right. I just think that audience score is skewed because people who would want to see this movie went and saw it.
now kind of just bringing up the behind the scenes stuff. Fun fact, Jordan Peele, so when this script came out, it had like a huge bidding war among studios. And
Really?
Jordan Peele really, really wanted to make this movie, like badly wanted to make this movie. But he got outbid, like his production company, Monkey Paw, which Jordan Peele, obviously for those who don't know, is now a huge horror director, made like Us,
Yeah.
Get Out,
Get
that kind of
Out.
stuff. But so when he lost, when his production team wasn't able to get the rights to this movie, he fired everybody and hired a new team because he was like
He was
that
so
mad
mad.
about it. Because when
Oh
you,
gosh.
if you've watched Get Out, if you've watched Us and stuff, and some of his other movies, this is
Similar
a Jordan
vibes.
Peele movie, like
Yeah.
through and through. Like this is very much like, oh, Jordan Peele would love this. Like this is his kind of thing. And so him not getting it was a huge blow because it's just that is like for
Stab in
him.
the heart.
But I personally
Dang.
think he would have made it even more confusing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I think he would have made it more. I think actually to some degree, I feel like he would have made it more allegorical in terms of like this means this, or Zach Cregger is like, I don't want to do that. This can mean anything.
Yeah.
So that could be great for you. That could be bad for you. Just whatever you prefer. But I think
Yeah.
it's a less fun movie with
Have
Jordan
you
Peele. He makes
seen-
fun movies, but
Have
less
you
fun.
seen his other ones, like his other horror films?
No, I've seen bits and pieces of all of them, and I want to watch them. Like I really want to watch Get Out, and I really want to watch Us, but I haven't
Do
seen
you
them
like horror
personally.
movies in general? Like do you seek them out?
I don't seek horror movies out. I seek more like I feel like horror directors out. Like
Okay.
Jordan Peele, Zach Cregger, these are kind of guys that like, oh, I'm gonna go see those movies. I want to go
Because
watch
they're
them.
directed by good directors.
Exactly. They're directed by
Okay.
these guys. Whereas like Conjuring movies I could care less about. The first
Yeah.
and second one I think are good, but besides that, like I have no interest in seeing Annabelle. I have no interest in seeing Annabelle 2. I have no interest in seeing Annabelle 3. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
It's horror movies with heart, horror movies that like have like where it's not just about the scares is this type
Yeah.
I love. Because I think suspense and fear, and I love me a story of normal people having to deal with something supernatural and like the mystery of all that. That's why I really love
Yeah.
Severance, that kind of stuff. But if it's just about the jump scaring kind of thing, then I don't care. I could care
Yeah.
less.
Yeah. You like want a story with it,
Exactly.
which I think is normal and
Yeah.
fair. Okay, well, cool. Any other
Mm-hmm.
closing remarks before we go into our story? I mean, our scoring.
I think we talked a lot more about the whole deeper meanings and explanation of this movie a lot more than I thought we were going to, which is the kind of the fun of this conversation with this type of movie. But I just want to say, since we didn't talk too much about it, I love the characters in this movie. They're not like the most complex, they're not the most deep, but we didn't even bring up James, the like homeless druggy kid.
He was
who is
hilarious.
so
I loved
good.
him.
He's
Yeah.
so funny. Like so good. Archer is really funny. Also, in the original, so this movie was supposed to be made before the strikes. Then the strikes happened and they had to put it on pause.
Okay.
So almost the entire cast is different besides James. So Pedro Pascal was originally supposed to be Archer, which I think
Wow.
Josh Brolin is a much better version of this character.
Yeah.
I love Pedro. Think Josh Brolin
No
did a
shade.
better job. Yeah, no shade. Josh Brolin took the character in a better direction. But anyways, the characters are super fun.
Yeah.
Like the story is, in my opinion, very fun. I love the Aunt Gladys of it all. I think she's her type of villain who is just evil because they love being evil and like take joy in that. I love those villains. Like Bill Cipher is an example from Gravity Falls. The Joker is an example.
Yeah.
Like these types of characters who like they just love what they do about being evil. Because like not because I'm like, oh, I love this about them. It's like they're just so evil. Like I want to
just
see them get
interesting.
defeated. Like I love me a villain that I connect to, that I'm like, oh, I understand your motivations, or oh, we're gonna talk about this with Scream about villain motivations and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. But while they talk about it in Scream, since we're going to talk about that in a second, peek behind the curtain for the next episode, they bring it up of it's almost scarier when you don't know what the motive is. Like it's
Yeah.
almost more interesting when you don't know what the motive is. And that's what I get with like, yes, she has a motive, but that's not really like the mystery of who she is more of why she is who she is, why she's so evil is more interesting to me, and how she loves being evil. Like how dude is smacking his head into the love of his life. Terrible, such a tragic scene, so gross. And she's just like cleaning up all the stuff, just washing her hands. Like
she just doesn't care.
I love that kind of stuff.
She's
Just
like,
villains
I've
like
seen
that.
worse.
Exactly.
Well,
We've been around the
you
block.
guys.
But yeah, so for me,
So bad.
I give this movie a extra large bucket with extra butter because this is just everything I want in a horror movie.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll give it a large bucket because I think it is a good movie. But I'm going to give it probably a little butter.
Mm-hmm.
I was more excited to talk about this one than some of the other movies that I haven't liked on the podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Had a lot
like
more
it's like
to say. Yeah.
It obviously got me feeling some type of way. So, gotta give it something.
Yeah. All right. Well.
All right. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But
this was a little mix up from what we normally do, and I think because it's we have so much to talk about. There's so much to talk about with this movie. There's not like we didn't have as many questions as we probably will for the next movie we're going to talk about, but hopefully you like the episode. Hopefully maybe you've seen Weapons. Hopefully you want to see it after this. Maybe you don't want to see it after this, but yeah.
But thanks for joining us is what
Thanks
we're
for
trying to
joining us.
say.
Exactly.
And hopefully, and please do seriously let us know if you like this format better where we just kind of chat, or if you want some more structure to it. We're going to try this structure again one more time in our next episode after this with Screen. See how it goes. Maybe throw some more questions in there, and then we'll kind of just go from there. See where we're at. But thanks for joining.